updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
Good day, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. News, events, and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program, in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. And now let's go through the highlights of today's report. Nigerian Air Force destroys 3 illegal refining sites in Rivers. In Lagos State, authorities confirm 25 cases of cholera in Kirikiri. Nigerian Air Force helicopter crashes in Kaduna State. And President Tinubu condemns bomb attacks in Borno State. We'll take this very short break, and when we return, we go straight to the details. Please stay tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
On the point of order.
Honorable They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
On the point of order.
Honorable
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports, and now we dive into the details for today. The Nigerian Air Force says its air component of Operation Delta Save has destroyed 3 illegal refining sites at Will Court, a riverine settlement in Rivers State. The Nigerian Air Force Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, who made this known, said that the illegal refining site with a total of 7 overhead tanks was concealed under thick mangrove vegetation in the area. Gapquet's statement reads, as the activities of oil thieves and economic saboteurs became sophisticated, so also have the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies re-strategized in order to checkmate their activities and be ahead of their game. In most cases, oil thieves in the Niger Delta region have continued to find new ways of concealing their overhead tanks used in storing stolen crude oil products from busted pipelines, just as they have continued to infuse the use of fast-speed boats to convey their stolen goods. Unfortunately for these criminals, the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies have also upped their game with modern technology and hardware that enables them to detect and deter the activities of these enemies of the state. In Will Court, a riverine settlement within the creeks of Niger Delta region becoming notorious for illegal oil activities, the air component of Operation Delta Save sighted and destroyed 3 illegal refining sites with a total of 7 overhead tanks concealed under thick mangrove vegetation. About 5 kilometers downstream, 4 boats were also sighted moving southwards with suspected illegally refined products. The boats were subsequently attacked and destroyed. While heading back, the crew spotted a speedboat with 5 suspected oil thieves fleeing the area. Upon sighting the aircraft, the criminals increased speed, hoping to evade the aircraft. The air component then pursued the speedboat until they arrived at a blocking zone mounted by 2 boats belonging to the Nigerian Army Amphibious under the land component of Operation Delta Save. Analysts say peace is the life wire to any socio-economic growth and sustainability in any society, and its absence will crumble the economy. Speaking on Atlantic Television's Open Air, a socio-political analyst, Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu, said that peace is the key to any socio-economic development of a state.
Peace, and nothing will be achieved, because no sane investor will like to invest where there is no peace, where the government is in conflict with itself or the citizenry. So Ojos Okalo has taken a position which he himself knows that it will be beneficial to Rivers people and the governor himself.
In view of sustainability and leadership, Ifeanyichukwu lauded Oje Uzokalo as he described his advice to Governor Fubara as legacy inclined.
So, Oje Uzokalo knows that it is not Uhuru that you have become a governor, but the impact and what posterity will judge you for is what is remaining next. Okay. Fubara will not contest a governorship election again to be a first-time governor.
Yes.
But what will be the question tomorrow is, what did Fubara achieve? He will not come to write rhetorics or in the next generation that that his administration was prevented from performing. Nobody will take.
This is coming after Abia North Senator Oje Uzokalo urged Governor Fubara to reconcile with his predecessor, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, saying that peace would be in the best interest of the state. And there's more news to come, but don't forget, you can connect with us and watch us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. On TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. On X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. On Watch Us Live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, on Sunday disclosed that 25 cases of severe gastroenteritis confirmed to be caused by cholera were reported at Kirikiri Medium Security Prison. The development was against the claim by the Nigerian Correctional Service on Wednesday, June 26, 2024, that the custodial centers nationwide were free of cholera. The NCOS spokesperson, Abubakar Umar, speaking with the press, had stated that the routine hygienic measures put in place in the correctional centers had helped to keep cholera out. However, in a statement on Sunday signed by the Director of Public Affairs, Lagos State Ministry of Health, Tumbosun Ogumbawo, the commissioners reported a small outbreak of 25 cases of severe gastroenteritis confirmed to be caused by cholera. He said urgent medical and environmental measures have been implemented successfully. Speaking on the outbreak, Abayomi at the updates on the cholera outbreak at the weekend said no new cholera-related deaths have been reported in the last 72 hours as the government kept intensifying countermeasures to eliminate transmission. He confirmed ongoing low-grade community transmission as the new daily cases and deaths reduced. He, however, noted that the interventions were bearing dividends as residents were adhering to public health information and advice on safety measures and the need for early presentation to health facilities when symptoms developed. Addressing the source of the original outbreak 2 weeks ago, Abayomi said that it had been traced to the unregulated street beverages and contaminated water supply. He said many samples taken from popular street beverages purchased by undercover environmental officers from the Environmental Protection Agency and the Ministry of Health in the affected areas confirmed the presence of Vibrio cholera bacteria, which is the cause of cholera. Ogun State government has warned the public to desist from selling and buying government assets in the states to individuals or corporate bodies. The warning was made during a monitoring exercise by the Bureau of Lands and Survey, led by Surveyor Fatai Adeboyejo at Sabo, Abeokuta North local government area of the state. Adeboyejo decried the nefarious activities of encroachers who were taking over some landed properties acquired some years back by the government for public use. He urged prospective land buyers to visit the office of the Director General, Bureau of Lands and Survey at Okemusan, Abeokuta for inquiries and professional advice before any purchase. Also, the acting Surveyor General in the Bureau, Surveyor Oladele Ewulo, stated that the task force has been set up to checkmate the unwholesome activities of land grabbers, adding that proper documentation was germane in land purchase. An Air Force helicopter belonging to the Nigerian Air Force in the early hours of Monday crashed in Tami village, located in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. Eyewitnesses say that the incident occurred at approximately 5:00 hours, 5 a.m., causing significant alarm among residents. The helicopter, said to be on a routine operational flight, experienced technical difficulties that led to the crash. Fortunately, the pilot managed to exit. Fortunately, the pilot managed to execute emergency protocols effectively, ensuring his survival. Eyewitnesses at the scene reported that the pilot emerged from the wreckage largely unscathed. Residents of Tami village quickly gathered at the crash site, offering assistance where possible and expressing relief that no lives were lost. It was gathered that a team of military officers from the Nigerian Air Force swiftly arrived at the scene to secure the area and conduct an initial investigation. They cordoned off the crash sites to prevent unauthorized access and to ensure the safety of villagers. The officers also began preliminary assessments to determine the cause of the crash, which remains unknown at this time. As of the time of filing this report, the Nigerian Air Force has not released an official statement regarding the incident, but an investigation is expected to be launched to ascertain the factors leading to the crash. Troops of 1 Division Nigerian Army Kaduna has arrested 47 suspected rail track vandals along the Kakao, Daji, and Gongwan, Ayaba. The suspects, who had loaded 2 trucks with the vandalized rail track items, said that they were employed by one Alhaji Babawo, who is at large, to load the items and offload them in a nearby bush along the road. Parading the suspects at 312 Artillery Regiment, Kaduna, the acting commander, 1 Division Provost Corps, Provost Group, Lieutenant Colonel I.Y. Rena, stated that the suspects were cross-examined to ascertain their level of involvement in theft. Lieutenant Colonel Rena said that some of the vandalized rail tracks and items were found in the nearby bush, waiting to be evacuated by the criminals. Handing over the suspects to Nigerian Railway Corporation, Kaduna Station Divisional Crime Officer ASP Inuwa Dahiru, Lieutenant Colonel Rena urged the security agencies to make adequate arrangements to secure the tracks against further vandalism. ASP Dahiru praised the Army for their proactiveness and collaboration with other security agencies in tackling the security challenges in the state. He assured the Army that the suspects will be investigated before they were charged to court to serve as a deterrent to other criminals. The General Officer commanding 1 Division Nigerian Army and Commander Operation Will Punch, Major General M.L.D. Saraso, commended the troops for arresting the suspects. He charged them to remain resilient and focused to bring criminal elements in the division to book. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention has recorded 118 suspected cholera cases in Katsina State. Available data from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention showed as of June 24, 2024, there were 1,528 suspected cholera cases, 65 confirmed cases, and 53 deaths across 107 local government areas in 31 states, reflecting a case fatality rate of 3.5% since the beginning of the year. The most affected states were Bayelsa, Zamfara, Abia, Cross River, Bauchi, Delta, Katsina, Imo, Nasarawa, and Lagos. To combat the spread, President Bola Tinubu approved the establishment of a multi-sectoral cabinet committee on the ground on the control of the epidemic, headed by Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, the Director of Epidemiology at Katsina State University. At Katsina State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Kabiru Suleiman said that the 118 suspected cases returned negative. Suleiman added that recently about 118 suspected cholera samples were taken for laboratory tests. According to him, all the cases were negative, adding that, so for now, we don't have new cholera cases, but the state is fully prepared for any emergency. We can coordinate any outbreak that can affect the state at any time. The director said the state, together with some of the development partners, had the required equipment to fight the disease. We have all the needed equipment to treat such outbreaks. We have maintained our system at alert. The rapid response teams, including surveillance and notification officers, have already been trained in the proper detection and management of such diseases. In terms of prevention and control, we are taking measures to curtail the spread of the disease to other places in the state, he said. Suleiman also said that the government has established oral rehydration points at 34 comprehensive health centers for admission and treatment of cholera cases. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has granted the transfer of regulatory oversight of the Imo State electricity markets to the State Electricity Regulatory Commission. This is contained in an order signed by Sanusi Garba, the chairman of NERC, at the weekend, stating that the transfer is in compliance with the Electricity Act 2023 and shall take effect from July 1st, 2024. The Electricity Act 2023 granted legislative autonomy to federating states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria by empowering the subnational governments to legislate on generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity within each respective state. With this, only 4 states, Enugu, Ondo, Ekiti, and Imo, have got the regulatory autonomy. According to the Commission, the others seek to commence the process as well as provide a transition plan for the transfer of regulatory oversight for the interstate electricity markets in Imo State for the Commission to Imo State Electricity Regulatory Commission in accordance with the CFRN and the EA. The order is also aimed to address ensuring transitional matters arising from the transfer of regulatory oversight for the interstate electricity markets in Imo State from the Commission to ISAC. Enugu Electricity Distribution Company is hereby directed to incorporate a subsidiary under the Companies and Allied Matters Act. This is for the assumption of responsibilities for interstate supply and distribution of electricity in Imo State from EEDC. And EEDC shall complete the incorporation of the EEDC subco within 60 days from the effective date of this order, and EEDC subco shall apply for and obtain a license for the intrastate supply and distribution of electricity from ISAC. EEDC shall identify the actual geographic boundaries of Imo State and carve out its network in Imo State as a standalone network with the installation of boundary meters in all border points where the network crosses from Imo State into another state, the order read. You are watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back shortly after this break. Do stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You
On the point of
on them. They are not picking our cause. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap am.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You're a human
On the point
trafficker.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You're a human
On the point
trafficker.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. As the nation awaits the new minimum wage promised to be sent to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu, the burden of implementing the new minimum wage may make many states bankrupt. The Federal Executive Council at its meeting last Tuesday stepped down on a memorandum on the report of the tripartite committee on the new minimum wage to allow for more consultations among the federal and state governments on one part and the private sector and the labor unions on the other part. Last Thursday, Tinubu met with the governors at the National Economic Council meeting chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. The meeting, which was expected to deliberate on the national minimum wage, was, however, silent on whether or not it considered the issue. Also, last Thursday, the Southern Governors Forum released the communique of its meeting held in Abeokuta, Ogun State, with the governors asking that each state should negotiate minimum wage with its workforce. The labor unions have, however, reacted to the stance of the Nigerian Governors Forum over their overbearing influence on the minimum wage negotiations. In a document titled Analysis of States FAAC Inflows and State Expenditure Profile of the Nigerian Governors, Nigerian Governors Forum Secretariat, the NGF report warned that implementing a new minimum wage could push states into bankruptcy due to increased recurrent expenditure. According to the report, the burden of recurrent expenditure already left Abia, Ekiti, Gombe, Imo, Katsina, Kogi, Oyo, Plateau, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states in deficit in 2022. The report predicted that if the recurrent expenditure increased by 50%, 13 states will fall into deficit with only 10 remaining financially stable. The tripartite committee's recommendation of a 62,000 naira minimum wage will necessitate over 100% increase from the present 30,000 naira, potentially leaving only a few states like Anambra, Bayelsa, Borno, Ebonyi, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Lagos, and Rivers states with positive net revenues based on the 2022 fiscal data. A net revenue is the deduction of recurrent expenditure from the total revenue of the state. When it is positive, it means a surplus, but when negative, there is a deficit. Also, the total revenue of states is calculated from the monthly revenue from the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, internally generated revenue, aids and grants and constituency development funds. Correspondent reported that on October the 19th, 2023, that 15 states have yet to implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage for their workers since it was signed into law in 2019. President Bola Tinubu has condemned the bomb attacks which resulted in loss of lives and maiming of citizens in Gwoza local government area of Borno State. Mr. Tinubu, in a statement by Chief Ajuri Ngelale, Special Advisor to the President's Media and Publicity on Sunday, he declared that the purveyors of wanton violence would have a certain encounter with justice. He said that the cowardly attacks were only but an isolated episode, as his government will not allow the state to slither into an era of fear, tears, sorrow, and blood. The president described the attacks as desperate acts of terror and a clear manifestation of the pressure mounted against terrorists and the success achieved in degrading their capacity to launch offensives. He stated that his administration was taking necessary measures to secure citizens. Mr. Tinubu emphasized that the efforts will be redoubled to ensure that those who troubled the nation, dispatching precious lives and disrupting law and order, were completely removed. He condoled with the victims of the attacks, the families of the deceased, as well as the government and people of Borno State. Correspondent reported that there were 4 different suicide incidences on Saturday in Gwoza area of Borno State. The locations of the 4 incidences are areas where the Boko Haram faction led by Ali Ngulde operates. The group has been suppressed by its breakaway faction, Islamic State of West African Province, ISWAP, following the death of its leader, Abubakar Shekau. The group under the late Shekau had used female members and captives to carry out suicide bombing attacks. The federal government, through the Nigeria Customs Service, has grounded a United States registered Gulfstream jet belonging to a leading Nigerian bank, signaling the commencement of government clampdowns on private jet owners over unpaid import duty running into several billions of naira. The development came barely 2 weeks after the NCS began a 1-month verification exercise for private jet owners in the country. The exercise, which began on June the 19th, 2024, is expected to end in July the 19th, 2024. In a public notice by the Customs, the exercise aims to identify private jet operators that have illegally imported aircraft into the country without paying the necessary import duties. The Customs had recovered about 2 billion naira into the government's coffers when a similar exercise was carried out in 2019. At least 80 private jets are expected to present their import documents and aircraft certificate of registration to the Customs in Abuja during the 1-month exercise. Although the grounding of private jets with the necessary import duty is expected to begin after the 1-month customs verification exercise, findings show that moves by some operators to export their aircraft might have forced NCS to begin a clampdown on jet operators. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited said it has begun an investigation into allegations of coercion against customers at one of its retail stations. The company gave the update following a recent video clip making rounds on X. In the said video, customers were seen being forced to purchase lubricants before they could purchase premium motor spirits, also known as petrol. The attendants in the video had alleged that the development was a directive from NNPC Retail Management. However, a statement by its Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Soneye, said that it had launched an investigation into the unfortunate incident and assured that appropriate disciplinary action will be taken against the culprits. It said that the NNPC Retail wishes to state unequivocally that the allegations are entirely false and does not represent the company's customer service charter. At all NNPC retail filling stations, customers are not obligated to purchase lubricants or engine oil or other products as a precursor to buying PMS. Speaking further on the incident, the managing director of NNPC Retail Limited, Hob Stockman, said that we are dedicated to providing clear, transparent and quality service to all our customers, guaranteeing that their needs are met without any recourse to unnecessary and unscrupulous conditionalities. He advised the public to disregard the information in its entirety and report any such occurrences to the appropriate authority. No fewer than 60 persons have been arrested by the operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency during a drug party said to have been organized by one Stanley Ikechukwu in the Federal Capital Territory on Friday. A statement on Sunday by the NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi said those arrested comprised 25 males and 35 females, while at least 6 suspects were at the venue with different drugs. The statement read in part, in Abuja, the NDLEA operatives on Friday night disrupted a drug party dubbed Go Hard or Go Home, Pick Your Poison, where 60 suspects comprising 25 males and 35 females were arrested at an apartment in Sun City Estate in the Federal Capital Territory. The raid followed credible intelligence about the drug party organized by one Stanley Ikechukwu, who was arrested at the venue. At least 6 of the suspects, Victoria Adoga, Hamza Yari, Joanne Essien Joy, Sochima Valentine, Jago Imole, and Charles Ndubisi, were arrested with different quantities of ecstasy and cannabis. Babafemi said that the chairman of NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, had directed that 20 of the suspects who tested negative for drugs be released unconditionally. Also, he stated that 33 others who tested positive for illicit drugs were to be released on bail and would report to the FCT command of the agency on Monday to begin treatment and counseling. The federal government has received no fewer than 103 Nigerians deported from Turkey over migration-related issues such as expired visas and irregular migration, amongst others. Alhaji Tijani Ahmad, the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, stated this on Friday evening during the deportees profiling in Abuja. Represented by Ambassador Catherine Udida, the Director of Migration Affairs in the Commission, Ahmad said that the Commission expected 110 deportees but received 103, all males. Some of them have been in deportation camp for some months and now they are here. We are hoping to follow up on all the allegations gathered in their profiling. We will go through the profiling forms because some of them have said that their passports were seized. We are going to follow up with the Turkish authorities because the passports are still the property of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he assured. According to him, the NCFRMI is the mandate agency responsible for all returnees, irrespective of their status. We equally have a program where we train them and thereafter reintegrate them into the society, the Federal Commissioner stated. Similarly, Mr. Bashiru Galga, the North Central Zonal Coordinator, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, assured the returnees of the government's readiness to support them through collaborative efforts of all relevant agencies. One of the victims, Mr. Arinze Stone, said that the Turkish authorities arrested and detained him in the camp for about 6 months. Operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Police Command have arrested 6 members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, also known as Shiites, in Abuja during a pro-Palestine demonstration. According to eyewitnesses, the police used force to disperse the protesters who were gathered at the National Mosque in Abuja to show solidarity with Palestine. In a statement on Sunday, the Islamic movement in Nigeria, led by Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki, condemned the arrest and detention of the protesters, demanding their unconditional release. Sheikh Sidi Munir Mainasara Sokoto signed a statement on behalf of the Islamic movement urging the immediate release of the detainees. As investors begin registration for the 2024 licensing round, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has removed 5 oil blocks from the ongoing licensing round due to legal disputes. The 5 oil blocks are said to be under various litigation. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission confirmed the development. The affected assets are PPL 3008, PPL 3009, PML 551, PPL 267 and PPL 268. The press reports that the 5 blocks were amongst the 12 initially announced by the NUPRC Chief Executive Benga Komolafe at the Miami International Roadshow for the 2024 licensing round. Hosted by the NUPRC in collaboration with the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria and ZETS Advisory and Consulting. However, while announcing that the assets on offer will be increased, the NUPRC said that 5 others were removed because of legal disputes. Officials of the Commission did not reply to inquiries from our correspondent on who the litigants are and the reasons for the litigation. Our correspondent reports that the Commission did not indicate whether or not the 5 affected assets are out of the 17 on offer. During the pre-bid conference held recently in Lagos, it was announced that the President Bola Tinubu had reduced the signature bonus payable by successful bidders from around $200 million to $10 million. According to Komolafe, the NUPRC surveyed what other countries like Brazil demand as signature bonus from the would-be investors and discovered the need to slash that of Nigeria. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata. Stay connected on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for international news coming up next.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending